राजप्रियम् धर्म संस्थापकं वीरम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
Jai Shri Krishna. What secret teaching did Lord Krishna want Arjuna to grasp that would help him overcome the delusion and grief at a very crucial moment when he was required to take up his mission and fight? Sankhya Yoga, or the Yoga of Knowledge, is the supreme knowledge about overcoming delusion and being established in a state of Brahmic bliss. On behalf of Geeta Pariwar, I welcome you all to discover what the second chapter, Sankhya Yoga, has got to unveil. Seeking his presence among us and to ask the blessings of the Almighty, I invite Rupa Gajjar ji to lead us in prayer. Rupa Gajjar ji, MSc, housewife from Rajkot, Gujarat, joined Geeta Pariwar in May 2021 and now serves as trainer from L1 to L4. Trainer, mentor, tech assistant and trainer and supervisor in calling and support department. Welcome, Rupa ji.
Jai Shri Krishna. Vasudevasutan devam Kamshachanuramardhanam Devaki Parimanandam Krishnau Vande Jagadguru. Krishnau Vande Jagadguru. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna. Thank you, Rupa Didi, for a melodious prayer. Confucius said that the real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance. The radiance which shines in creation is that of the Almighty. To enlighten us with the light of knowledge, I call upon Rekha Anil Patki ji to light the lamp. Rekha Patki ji, a housewife, grandmother from Nerul, Navi Mumbai, joined Geeta Pariwar in August 22 and now serves as group coordinator. Welcome, Rekha ji.
निषिद्धैरप्येभिर्लुलितमकरन्दो मधुकरैः करैरिन्दोरन्तश्छुरित इव सम्भिन्नमुकुलः विधत्तां सिद्धिन्नो नयनसुभगामस्य सदसः प्रकीर्णः पुष्पाणां हरिचरणयोरञ्जलिरयम् शरदिन्दुनिभां शुभ्रवस्त्रैरलङ्कृतां कलहंसकृतावासां वरदां शारदां नुमः।
Thank you, Rekha Didi. An announcement. We are excited to announce the commencement of the 36th batch of our Gita classes, starting from November 8, 2024. Dive deep into the timeless wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita, with classes available in 13 languages and across 20 time slots to suit your convenience. Spread this divine message to all your friends and relatives. Motivate them to register and embark on a transformative journey of spiritual knowledge. We also invite sadhaks to share the Vivechan links, Zoom and YouTube, to friends and relatives. He imparts a plethora of perspectives and knowledge through his commentary. Senior trainer Vikas Vaidya, Bachelor of Mechanical Engineering, based in Pune, owns a small IT company. He is proficient in 6 languages. Over the last 5 years, he has been reciting the whole Bhagavad Gita daily. He serves as trainer and selects and trains trainers. He also teaches and conducts Vivechan sessions as a member of Pune Geeta Pariwar. He guides Geeta Vratis for the Shrungeri Peeth Geeta exam and has himself given the Geeta Kasthas exam at Shrungeri Peeth, for which he was awarded the first prize at the hands of P.P. Jagadguru Shankaracharya. It is a privilege to welcome you, respected Vikas Vaidya.
जय श्री कृष्ण। परम पूज्य स्वामी जी के चरण कमलों में कोटि कोटि नाम। वसुदेव सुदं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानंदं कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुं। कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुं। जय श्री कृष्ण all. We are discussing second adhyay, Sankhya Yoga. Last time we started the discussion and we had discussed up to shlok number 11, from which shlok the Paramatma's great Gita message has started. Ashocharannashocastam prajnavadam subhashase katha sunakatha sunuscha nanu shochanti panditaha. So we'll continue with shlok 12. Natveva jatu nasan natvande me janadhipaha nachaiva na bhavishyamas sarve vayamatah param. Janadhipa is the kings who are standing in front of Arjuna for fighting the war. Janadhipaha, kings. Bhavishyama, they will continue to exist. Aham is I. Jatu, at any given time. No is never. Asam is to exist. Sarve vayam. Vayam is the pronoun in Sanskrit. That means all of us. Sarve vayam, all of us. Atah param, hereafter also. So in short, Paramatma says to Arjuna that Arjuna, there was never a time when I did not exist. When you or all these kings, Janadhipaha, did not exist, and never in future shall there be any time when any of us would cease to exist. We were in the past, we are here in the present, of course, and we will continue in the future as well. The Lord says that these kings, you and I, we all existed even centuries ago. Then came a time when the bodies perished. But we still continue to exist. Without bodies, we continue to exist. The body is nothing but a form of matter. And as the matter changes, because change is the matter's inherent innate property, nature. Let us discuss about the journey of our body, how it comes into existence, how it travels through the life. The body is formed of food grains. The food that our mother and father ate, it led to formation of ova and sperm, respectively, in their bodies. The mating of sperm and ova is called conception, and then this leads to formation of embryo in the mother's womb. Everybody knows this, of course. This embryo is nurtured by the food that the mother eats. And the nature enables this embryo to go through a complex process which ultimately gives the birth to a baby, and baby is born after 9 months. This is the cycle of birth. Now, baby when starts taking the food independently, initiates the food from the breast milk of the mother, where the God has made arrangement for her to take the food, and then she starts taking the food independently. The food is responsible and essential for this growth of the baby. So in short, what has happened? born from food, nurtured by the food, this body eventually disintegrates on the fire of that fire. After death, the fire dries up all the water in the body, and then the flesh, the skin, the fats, the bones, everything get burnt. The fully grown body thus turns into a mere handful of ash. We see it when we go for cremation of our known people to the crematorium. We see this, that entire body gets converted into a small piece of ash, small portion of ash. So all the five elements constituting this body, Panchamahabhuta, air, water, fire, earth, and space, they dissolve into the Panchamahabhuta again, to the corresponding Panchamahabhuta. The relatives then either disperse the ash in a river or bury that ash into the earth, and then they plant a sapling there on the top. The ash then gets thrown in the river sometimes and eventually settles on the banks of the river or reaches the fields that are irrigated with the river water. So in a way, the ash is in the soil, which is partly responsible for formation of the crops that are produced in the field, which will lead to again formation of ova and sperm, and thus the cycle continues. Some time ago, our body was not there. Before we were born, our body was not there, but we existed. Our soul was there, so we existed. And after a few years, this body will cease to exist. This will again go to ashes. We will be no more in this body. Will exist. Will continue to exist. What changes is the form of the body. Interestingly, now some intelligent people, we know of course, have come up with the idea of making biogas, electricity, or even fertilizer from the human waste. And this very fertilizer would be used to produce the crops and food grains, which we will consume. And again, that ova and sperm story will continue. So what a full circle ending, isn't it? This cycle continues. Shri Krishna is saying to Arjuna that all these kings, Janadhipaha, you and I, have existed since time immemorial. Bodies died and were reborn. Then they died again and were reborn again. This cycle continues. There has never been a time when these kings, you or I, did not exist. It is just that you don't know your past lives. We were discussing it some time back that the age of Earth is 4.3 billion years. If we take our average life as 100 years, you can imagine how many lives we have lived so far. If human life is 100 years, there are some species, the life is only 15 minutes. Like the moth in the rainy season comes, it dies on its own in 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. That is the lifespan of that moth. Patanga, that we call Patanga in Hindi. So how many bodies have been changed by us in last 4.3 billion years then? Hundreds of millions. When bodies have been changing so very often for last so many years, why attraction for this body then? This process is continuing. This process is continuing. There is a story of a Buddhist monk. A Buddhist monk, he wrote that an old man would come to him to see him regularly, accompanied by his grandson, beautiful looking grandson. Then one day he came to know that the grandson of that old man had died. On hearing this, the monk felt very bad and he sent a message to the old man asking him to bring along the grandson's ash. Accordingly, the old man brought the ashes. The monk asked him to put the ash in a small ditch in the garden which he had dug earlier. Old plant would thrive not only on water and the mud, but it would also absorb the nutrients present in the ash. Hence, in effect, his grandson, his remains would become an integral part of the plant. Earlier, the child had existed in the form of his son. Now, this form had changed in the form of a plant. The form had changed, but the essence remains unchanged. The unchangeable never changes, and that never changes is called Parabrahma. And the one whose very nature is to change will change inevitably. That is called Maya. That is the Prakriti. That is the nature. It keeps on changing. So something changes and something does not change. What changes is not what we are. What does not changes is what we are. That is what Paramatma is repeatedly saying to Arjuna. Let us continue with next shloka, 13th. Paramatma says further, Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumarai yauvanai jara तथा देहांतर प्राप्तिर धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति. Dehinosmin yatha dehe. Dehina. Dehina means the people who are embodied. People like us who are Dehina. We have body, so we are Dehina. Asmin. Asmin means this body. Yatha, as Dehe, in the body. Kaumaram. Kaumaram is the boyhood, the childhood. Yavanam, youth. Jara, old age. Tatha, that means similarly, Yatha and Tatha. So similarly, Deha Antara, of the transfer of the body. Prapti is to achieve. Dhira. Dhira means a knowledgeable, sober person who has the knowledge. Tatra, thereupon, Muhyati is to get deluded. So Paramatma says further that Arjuna, see the Jivatma, that means the pure self, resides within this body as being separate from body, continuously passing from childhood to youth to old age. And then after death of this body, it requires a new body. So it is the fourth link in the same chain of birth, childhood, youth, old age, death and death. It is only the wise who does not get disconcerted by this change of form. He knows this is the link in the same chain. Birth, childhood, old age, death. Birth, childhood, again same cycle. So the central idea is that the common man in old age knows that despite the changes in the body, he is the same man who was in childhood and youth. We also feel the same way, that whatever we were when 6-year-old, we are going to school, and what we are today, we feel we are same. That I in us remains the same. He has not changed. Similarly, the enlightened man remains aware that the death will not change him. The only difference is we can identify ourselves from our childhood to youth to old age, everything. But death, oh, no. I don't want to think also about that. But dhirastatana muhyati, the person who is enlightened, he remains aware that death is the same in the same link. So it will not, it's not going to change him. Like old age has not changed him, youth has not changed him, childhood has not changed him. So he is knowing very well that the death also is not going to change him. That's why it does not elude it. We are grieving because our ignorance. We identify ourselves with our gross body. I am a child, I am a youth, or I am an old man. This is your conviction. But this is just your ignorance, Paramatma says. For the Jivatma residing in your perishable body is imperishable. He is not going through these changes. It is your gross body that is going through these changes. The journey from one body to another is that of your subtle body, Sukshma Sharir. Now this brings us to an important discussion. Let us listen carefully. Gross, subtle and causal. Sthul, Sukshma and Karan. These are the three bodies we have. Gross, subtle and causal. Sthul, Sukshma and Karan Sharir. All you are aware of is our gross body, Sthul Sharir, which we can see. Hence, you obsess about keeping this gross body fit and fine, presentable, feed it, beautified by going to maybe beauty parlors. We want to keep this gross body presentable. Feed it, beautify it, keep it happy all the time. But we have forgotten totally about our Sukshma Sharir, our subtle body. The subtle body is more important than gross body, which we'll understand now. The subtle body is constituted of 19 elements, 19. 5 sense organs, 9 indriyas, 5 motor organs, that means karmendriyas, 10, 5 pranas, there are 5 types of pranas, mind, intellect, self-conscious, that means our chitta, and our ego, our aham. So these are the 19 elements which constitute our Sukshma Sharir. They are the part of our Sukshma Sharir. Now, 5 sense organs, that means smell, sight, taste, hearing, and touch. They are the sense organs. 5 karmendriyas are our hands, legs, tongue, that means speech, and organs of urination and disposal of body waste. So these 5 are our karmendriyas. These 10 organs are essential. They are essentially the function. They function from our subtle Sukshma Sharir and manifesting as motor activity as karmendriyas in the gross body. All indriyas work. Only karmendriyas work or only jnanendriyas work not. All 10 indriyas work. And they work through this subtle body and manifest this action in our gross body. Now both subtle body and gross body are the handiwork of Prakriti, the nature. When subtle body permeates the external framework of gross body, this results in the functioning of sense and motor organs, that is jnanendriyas and karmendriyas. Hence the functions of our or the actions of our gross body, like seeing, like hearing, like taste, or like touching, they become possible. And at the moment of death, when this subtle body, Sukshma Sharir, leaves the gross body, all actions cease, they stop. Then the gross body cannot get up, cannot walk, cannot talk, cannot eat, cannot smell. It continues to have all the 10 indriyas. The dead body is having all indriyas, no? Hands, legs, nose, eyes, ears, everything is there, but nothing works. Everything stops working. Why? Sukshma Sharir has left that gross body. That's why the gross body cannot do anything on its own. It is dead forever. So now, do you love your gross body or your subtle body? Do we live our Sukshma Sharir or our Sthul Sharir? Which is more important? Of course, the Sukshma Sharir. After all, who loves the dead body? As long as the subtle body exists, you are loved by your mother, your father, your brothers, your sisters, your spouse. No sooner the subtle body leaves the gross body at the time of death, no one wants to keep the rotting gross body in the house. All arrangements are made to cremate it as soon as possible. So in reality, you love your subtle body, but you don't know that you love your subtle body because you don't know what is subtle body. And as a result of this ignorance, you are attached to your gross body and remain completely unaware of your subtle body. Now, having acquired this profound knowledge from Bhagavad Gita, now can we change our focus from gross body and start falling in love with our Sukshma Sharir, our subtle body? Shri Krishna says in this shloka, from childhood to youth to old age to death, the gross body changes its form. Then at the time of death, the old body is shed and the subtle body gets new gross body, a new form. But during this entire cycle of movement from one form to another, from one body to another, the Jivatma remains the same. That is why you feel drawn towards a complete stranger sometimes. You like that unknown person for no rhyme or reason. Do you know why? Because the two of you have been close in some previous lifetime. But with the death of previous gross bodies, the subtle bodies moved on with their individual journey. And when they happen to meet again, the subtle body gets drawn to another person's subtle body. Yet the gross bodies are unfamiliar with each other because the gross bodies have changed, subtle bodies have not. Hence, inexplicable urge sometimes to get to know the stranger. We sometimes don't know why we like that person. So, we are not new on this planet, Paramatma says. We are all ancient. And it is entirely possible that the kind of spiritual discussions that we are having now in this session, we might have had similar discussions in our previous lives with some different characters. For the subtle body, depending upon its desires and of course karma, acquires appropriate gross body in appropriate time and appropriate place. When a man who was born in India underwent past life regression and he found himself in the body of an Englishman. Likewise, there are many Europeans and many Americans who say that they must have been born in India in their previous lifetimes, as they have some very strange and inexplicable attraction for India and India's culture. I tell you from my personal experience. I myself have a very close friend. His name is Patrick Delano. The spelling is Delaunux, but they pronounce X, they don't pronounce. They say Patrick Delano. This Patrick is a Frenchman. He is living in Paris. We did business together for many years. He used to visit India every month. He was, and he still is, mad love with India. I had asked him 15 years back this question, Patrick, tell me what exactly you like about India. Why do you love India so much? What do you like here in India? You like the dusty roads here? You like the unmanageable traffic here? You may like the unmanageable crowd here? Or you like the cows and dogs moving on the road freely? What do you exactly like about India? We are very close friends, so we can talk to each other anything. So he said, all that does not matter because it does not matter. I love the people of India. Talking to them, I feel as if I am in my own people, as if I know them for ages. Now, this Patrick's forefathers had some connection with our French colony Pondicherry. So this could be the reason that his Sukshma Sharir could have been occupying some Indian body few lifetime back. Shri Krishna is saying to Arjuna, the wise ones remains unruffled by the death of this gross body. He does not mourn, does not grieve, for he knows that this journey will continue in another body. And who is this wise person that Shri Krishna is referring to? Who knows all this? The one who has higher wisdom. A refined pure intellect that understands all. So this is the journey of our body. Let us continue with slok number 14. Slok number 14. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkadaha agamapayino nityas tanstitikshasva bharata. Paramatma says, Matra sparshastu kaunteya. Matra sparsha, the contact of senses with the sense objects. We have 5 Jnanendriyas and sense objects, 5 sense objects. Shita is cold, Ushna is hot, of course. Sukha is happiness, Dukkha is unhappiness or pain. Da is to give. Agama is to appear, to come. Apayina, to disappear, to go. Anitya, unpermanent. Titiksha is just try to tolerate. Just try to tolerate. So Paramatma says, the relationship of contact between the senses and their object is the cause of feeling hot or cold, Shita Ushna, pain or pleasure. O son of Kunti, Kaunteya, they are transitory. Agama Paino, they come and go. They are not permanent. Therefore, hear them calmly. Matra Sparshastu Kaunteya, Shitoshna Sukadukpadaha, Agama Paino Nistas, Tanstitikshasva Bharata. There is no way. Just tolerate and go further. To avoid pain and to get happiness, human beings in this world depend on their mind and senses. From where do we feel the happiness and sadness? From our mind, of course. The 5 senses, that in turn, they depend on their 5 sense objects. The mind depends on the senses for the feedback of those senses. Eye see something, ear hear something, nose smell something, tongue eats or speaks something, and sends the feedback to the mind. Is it happiness or dukkha or sukha, pleasure or pain? But the common fate of all of them is impermanent and transitory. Scriptures therefore recommend that a true devotee, a true seeker, who is after the truth, should not abandon his endeavors when he is afflicted by pain, grief, or even pleasure. Because pleasure can also be not detected by anything. Sukha, dukkha, pain, pleasure, nothing. You should also observe titiksha. Titiksha means inner discipline, the spiritual training of mind and senses, and continue with his commitment. Scriptures recommend observance of titiksha for everybody, not for only yogis, but for everybody, because it contributes to build the discipline and character in us. When we learn the technique of titiksha, to tolerate things. See, our eyes cannot perceive this immortal, that which is birthless and deathless. Can the eye see what is birthless and deathless? Cannot. All that is tangible, perceptible to our eye is mortal. That which has taken birth is formed of 5 sense objects, that is sound, touch, form, taste and smell. And these 5 sense objects are formed from 5 elements, Panchamabhuta: air, water, fire, earth and space. Take an example. All the colors that you see, they comprise of the elements of Agni, fire. The deity presiding over the sense of seeing is the sun. As without the light, the eyes cannot see anything, any form whatsoever, isn't it? Thus the eyes, the light, the form and the color are all formed from Agni. So in all this game, sense organs, Panchama Bhuta and all that, where do we figure? Where do you figure? Where do I figure? What is the value of I that comes in at all times? What is the value of this I? Senses are interacting with sense objects. Sense objects, everything depends on Panchama Bhuta. They act in accordance with their nature. Where does this I come? Nevertheless, Parabrahma has no problem with your I. You keep on thinking I. Parabrahma has no problem with that. Take one example, one small story. An elephant was crossing a weak bridge and it started to sway away under the weight of that elephant. The bridge started dangling under the weight of that elephant. Meanwhile, a tiny fly came and sat on the back of the top of that elephant. When the duo, that means that elephant and that fly, they crossed the bridge, the fly said to elephant, "See how 2 of us managed to shake up the bridge." The elephant laughed and replied, "I was not even aware of your existence till you spoke." Such tinsy-wincy fly, but it was so deluded into thinking that its weight had contributed to shaking of the bridge. Our sense of doership is like that fly. In the story, the elephant spoke out, but the Parabrahma does not speak even that. It says, okay, if you think you are the doer, keep believing that. I have no problem. You keep on harping about what you did, what you ate, what you saw, what you heard. Is what you talk about when you meet someone. All your conversation is related to your sense organs, in fact. We enjoyed so much, you say. But who enjoyed? Good food is enjoyed by the tongue. Good music is enjoyed by the ears. Good sights are enjoyed by the eyes. And so on and so forth. So in effect, these sense organs are enjoying the sense objects. But you say, I had such a wonderful time. We enjoyed thoroughly. Now, where did this I come? How did this I come in the business of sense organs and sense objects? So whenever you enjoy the sensory world through sense organs, use your discriminatory wisdom and ask yourself this question: who is enjoying? Be aware of eyes that are seeing and the mind is enjoying. Through the medium of eyes, apply this question asking habit in your day-to-day life. If we adopt this habit, then you will start slowly moving away from I am body, I am mind, I am senses syndrome, which is catching us. So even when the tired body lies down on the bed to take the rest, be aware who is tired. Ask yourself, who is tired? Who wants to sleep? Who will get the rest? You will become a witness of your own body, which gets tired and which gets rested. You are a third person observing it from a distance. You simply become a witness. Lord is saying all sensory perceptions are fleeting, changing, without any exception, present in one moment and disappearing in the next. Agama paino nityas. Likewise, your body also is temporal, present now, but will disappear in due course of time. So where is the question of mourning then? Sri Krishna says, your body is mortal, perishable, and impermanence is the very nature of your body. Hence, why mourn the inevitable death of your body? Body of your dear ones and dear ones. Remember this shloka, remember these words of Lord Krishna whenever you face death of the body, whether your own or that of your loved ones. This is the way we have to acquire wisdom from Bhagavad-Gītā and still march ahead. Let's go further to slok number 15. Paramatma says further, slok 15. Yam hina vyathayanti te purusham purusharshava samadukha sukham dhiram somrtatvaya kalpate. Samo. That means, Saha is the pronoun. Sanskrit Saha means who. Yam is also one who. Vyathayanti. Vyathayanti is to distress. Purusham, person. Purusharshava is the best among persons, that is Arjuna. Sama, that means same. Dukkha, distress, sukha, happiness, we all know that. Dhiram, Dhiram is a person with having a lot of patience. Amrutatvaya, this is the important word. Amrutatvaya, nectar, liberation. Kalpate is considered eligible. So Paramatma says, the greatest among the men regards happiness and sorrow alike. Samadukha and sukha. And does not have restlessness for sensory gratification. He is neither excited nor disturbed by happiness or by sorrow. And only such a person who is steady in all situations is eligible for attainment of liberation. As we know from Gita, knowledge is of two types, para and apara. Apara refers to the worldly knowledge, earning money, running our household, behaving in the society, social norms, etc. While para is the knowledge which takes us beyond this world. It is the knowledge of Parabrahma. The Gita is the knowledge of Parabrahma. But you will find it useful for your worldly life as well. Both this phenomenal world and the other world, Paraloka, after death of the body, Gita can guide you in both. So Gita is para and apara, both knowledge. The wise one is neither perturbed by hell nor excited by heaven, because he knows that pleasure and pain are both transitory, temporary. Hence, do not become complacent by happiness or distressed by the sorrow. Know that all this is mandatory, all that will come will go away. But who knows all this? Among men or women, because this is about gender. Gender has nothing to do with the soul. They alone will have the intellect to absorb, understand this concept. They alone will know that everything is impermanent, be it happiness or sorrow, or indeed this mortal body. Such a steady, composed person is never frustrated by the pursuit of sensual gratification. He or she will never hanker for the sense pleasures. He knows whatever coming out of meeting of sense with sense objects is temporary. Tolerate it and go further. Don't get trapped into it. In addition, this shloka carries a message for all spiritual aspirants like us. Give up the habit of complaining, grumbling. This is not right. That is lacking. Why did he do this to me? Why she did not do that? Stop this complaining. Don't be complainer, constantly moaning and groaning about everything and everybody. Then be it your father, mother, brother, sister, spouse, friend, relatives, business partner, anybody. See, we are unable to respond appropriately even to minor problems in our life. And we find charm in complaining and complaining. Ye ho gaya, wo ho gaya. So how can we bring balance to our lives? There is a small interesting story that is called Sundar Pichai cockroach story. Sundar Pichai, the boss of Google, he has written an article. He says, at a restaurant, when he was enjoying his coffee, a cockroach suddenly flew from somewhere and sat on a lady. Now, this was a very ordinary situation. But see how we respond. She started screaming out of fear. With a panic-stricken face and trembling voice, she started jumping up and down with both her hands, desperately trying to get rid of that cockroach sitting on her body somewhere. Her reaction was contagious, as everyone in her group also got panicky. The lady finally managed to push the cockroach away, but it landed on another lady in the group. So it was the turn of other lady in the group to continue the drama of dancing. The waiter was watching this. He rushed forward to rescue. In the relay of throwing, the cockroach next fell upon the waiter. The waiter stood firm, composed himself, and observed the behavior of cockroach on his shirt. When he was confident enough, he grabbed it with his finger and threw it away from a window of the restaurant. Sundar Pichai says, sipping my coffee and watching with amusement, the antenna of my mind picked up a few thoughts and started wondering, was the cockroach responsible for this histrionic behavior of people here? If cockroach was responsible, then why the waiter was not disturbed? He handled the situation near to perfection without any chaos. So it is not the cockroach, but the inability of those people to handle the disturbance caused by cockroach that disturbed the ladies. He says, I realized it is not the shouting of my father or my boss or my wife that disturbs me, but it is my inability to handle the disturbances caused by their shouting that disturbs me. My inability. It is not the traffic jams on the road that disturbs me. It is my inability to handle the disturbance caused by traffic jam that disturbs me. More than the problem, it is my reaction to the problem that creates the chaos in the life. I understood. I should not react in life. I should always respond. There is a huge difference between reaction and respond. The women there, they reacted, whereas the waiter, he responded. Reactions are always impulsive. Responses are always well thought of. A beautiful way to understand life. We make our beautiful life complicated by reacting inappropriately in most of the situations. So a person who is happy is not so because everything is right in his life. He is happy because his attitude towards everything in life is right. That is why he is happy. Geeta teaches us the purpose of meditation. The purpose of meditation is to regulate the mind to such stillness that even during the most awful situations in our life, we are able to pause, analyze the situation, and take the action accordingly, respond appropriately, not like those ladies. In this shloka, Shri Krishna lists the eligibility criteria for attaining liberation, for attaining moksha, saying that only one who does not get perturbed under any circumstances is eligible for liberation. In fact, the word that Lord has used here is amrita. Amrita means liberation, nectar. Nectar. Paramatma is amrut, that means nectar. Now, what is the essence of nectar? Amrut. The essence of nectar, amrut in our life is, I am eternal, I am immortal, I am nectarous, self, the Atma. Knowing this, moksha. This, attaining the nectar of self-realization is moksha. So for moksha, one does not have to die. He has to realize this nectar in his life, and then he can moksha even when he is alive. So this is a great teaching this shloka has given us. Let us proceed further. Shlok number 16. Paramatma says further in Shlok 16, Na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate satah. Uvayorapi drushtavontas tvanayos tattvadarshibhi. We'll go to the meaning directly now. At no time there will be the absence of truth. Truth is eternal. On the other hand, although the untruth appears to exist, it is an illusion. The untruth has no existence, whereas the truth will always prevail. These are two unchangeable fundamental facts that way the essence of both truth and untruth is realized by the enlightened ones, Tattvadarshini. No matter how hard you try, the truth will never be converted into untruth and vice versa. Truth will remain truth, untruth will remain untruth. But first you need to understand what is truth and what is untruth. Isn't it? Truth is eternal. It existed in the past, it is existing now, and it will continue to exist in the future. Untruth, on the other hand, was transient, changeable in the past, it is temporary now, and it is changeable now and will continue to be so in future as well. The central idea is that this body and this phenomenal world, material world, being made of constituents of atoms, is in permanent state of change and is subject to decay and death. It is therefore unreal. The only absolute reality is the spirit, the soul, which never changes. The existence of unreal is comparable with that of a cinema that we see, The cinema picture scenes look complete and continuous due to the fast rapidity of motion picture. If you see that reel, there are so many pictures in that, but when that reel is rolled very speedily, you see everything is happening in continuation. Otherwise, it is pieces or fragment. It appears complete and continuous only because of the rapidity at which it moves. Similarly, this phenomenal world too looks solid because our senses cannot discern the fast changes that always occur in the nature. Vedanta says, Jagat Mithya, Prabhu Satya. World is unreal, God is real. This world is unreal because it is subject to change and modification. It is not lasting. God is eternal and above the change. Senses, mind, and all their objects, including this body, are unreal. Only soul is the reality. God says that the true seekers and knowers of the truth know this very well. What is Nasuto vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate satah. They know this very well. For Shlok number 17, Paramatma says further in Shlok 17, Avinashatu tadvidhi yena sarvamidhan tatam vinashamavyasyasya nakasyit kartumarhati. Paramatma says that which is all pervasive, that means which pervades all, believe only that to be eternal and everlasting. What pervades all? The Tattva Paramatma, isn't it? It pervades all. No power can destroy never change eternity. The mind and senses cannot see it because they have not learned the way to see it. The only reality is the soul. It is in all places, all situations, in all times and forms, and all beings. It pervades everything. How can this therefore be destroyed ever? It is existing forever. It cannot be destroyed. All that is visible and can be experienced is due to the power of soul. Now one could ask this question. If the soul is there in all objects, including the human beings, then when the human beings die, the soul should also die. The answer is that soul does not die. The dying object or the dead object, it existed due to the soul, vice versa. The body existed due to soul, soul did not exist due to body. Soul's existence does not depend on body. Soul is not object. The object is due to soul. The body is due to soul. The nature of soul is immortality. It cannot die. The nature of object is to change. The nature of object is to die. When the object leave, they leave due to soul. The objects have destructible constitution, but not the soul, because it is eternity and immortality. Now the question that may come to our mind is, do we know at what moment we will die? Interesting story. There is an account of guest house in Varanasi, where people check in to die. The name of that place is Kashi Labha Mukti Bhavan. It is there in Varanasi. Kashi Labha Mukti Bhavan. Rooted in the belief system of Hindus that we have, that if one takes one last breath of his life in Kashi, one attains what is popularly known as Kashi Labh. That means the fruit of Kashi, which is moksha or salvation. The interesting fact about this guest house is that one is allowed only 2 weeks to stay in that Kashi Mukti Bhavan. To die, he is allowed to stay there only for 2 weeks. So one has to really be certain that he is going to die in 2 weeks. If a person still hangs out around there after 2 weeks, he is asked to check out. Jaiya, baar jaiye. 2 hafta ho gaya, you are not died. Go. So this person who has written this article, he says, out of curiosity, I decided to go to Varanasi to understand what these people had learned, who had not only accepted death as a reality, but were rather anticipating it with a timer on. They check in and the timer is on. When I will die, when I will die, when I will die. So he says, I spent 2 weeks in that guest house and interviewed people who had checked in. Their life lessons were really thought-provoking. In the same environment, he says, I met one Mr. Bhairav Nath Shukla, who had been the manager of that Mukti Bhavan for last 44 years. He had seen more than 12,000 deaths in all these years of his working there. I asked him, Mr. Shukla, what is it that you have learned after seeing both life and death so closely? People come here and they are slowly waiting for the death. What have you observed in them? Mr. Shukla, he shared with me 12 life lessons in this regard, what he has seen. But there is one lesson in this series which is his favorite and which resonated deeply with me. The lesson is the lesson of life. Resolve all conflict before you go. Resolve all conflict before you go. He told me a story to back this. He says there was a Sanskrit scholar of the times by the name Ram Sagar Mishra. So this Mishraji was one of the eldest of 6 brothers and was closest to his youngest brother. One argument few years back led to bitter communication between this Mishraji and his youngest brother. This led to a wall, eventually partitioning the house. Both went on non-talking terms. In his final years, this Mishraji, he checked into that guest house. He told Shuklaji to reserve room number 3 for him because he was sure that he was going to die on the 15th day of his arrival. On 13th day, Mishraji showed an urge to see his estranged brother of 40 years. He said, this bitterness heavies my heart. I want to resolve every conflict before I go. So his youngest brother was called. Soon the youngest brother arrived. Mishraji held his hand and asked him to bring down the wall dividing the house. He asked for his brother's forgiveness. Though he was eldest, he asked for his forgiveness. Galti ho gaya, maaf karo mujhe. Both the brothers, they wept their heart out. And in the mid-sentence, suddenly, that senior Mishraji, he stopped speaking. His face became calm and he was gone at that moment. Mr. Shukla, the manager of that place, he told me that he had seen the same story replay over and over again with many people who came there. So this was not a unique story. This had repeated many times. He said, I see so many people carrying such unnecessary baggage throughout their lives, only wanting to drop it at the very end of their journey. The trick, according to that gentleman, he said, the trick, however, does not lie in having no conflicts at all. People have conflicts. There cannot be life without conflicts. Rather, the trick lies in resolving every conflict as soon as one has it. One cannot and one should not go to bed having an argument, a disappointment, a resentment, or a doubt. One should always try to resolve them at the earliest. Because you see, the good news is we are alive. But the bad news, nobody knows for how long. So resolve your conflict today, whatever it may be. For tomorrow is promised to no one in this world. Think, is there anything or anyone you would like to make peace with while you still got time? When we have bitter experiences with someone, it is only when we forgive that the emotional burden will be removed. So this great mantra is learned from that person. Let us continue with slok number 18 now. Paramatma says further, slok number 18. Antavanta ime deha nityasyokta sharirinaha anashino prameyasya tasmad yadyasva bharata. Krishna Bhagavan says, the body is immortal. But who dwells in the body is said to be, body is mortal rather, but the one who dwells in this body is said to be immortal, immeasurable, aprameya. Therefore, the Bharata, that means Arjuna, fight in this battle. Now this body of ours will come to an end. But we, the Atma, is eternal. The body is changing from moment to moment, and even in the few minutes when we are discussing this particular dialogue between us, our body has moved closer to the great change called death. The mind is subject to even more rapid changes. We have to only look at our desires and our moods to see how much our mind is subject to change every moment. Now, whenever we cling to something which is continually changing, we are becoming, or will rather become, more and more insecure with the passage of time. When we identify ourselves excessively with body, that I am body, every morning begins with a pose. The morning will pose a threat to us as we get older. Move to the latter half of our life. Every morning we look in the mirror to see if there are new wrinkles on the face. There are black circles, bags under the eyes, or gray hair in our hair. But the paradox of life is, when we cling to our body, it loses its beauty. But when we do not cling to it and use the body as an instrument to serve others, even at physical level, it glows with health and beauty. As we see from the life of so many yogis, mystics, including our own very own Pujya Swamiji. Swamiji is now 76 years of age. Can a normal human being who is clinging excessively to his body be so active physically at the age of 76, which Swamiji is, and still be so radiant? This body is the temple of Lord and must serve with care. The temple has to be broomed. रोज झाड़ू लगाना चाहिए उसमें. कैसे झाड़ू लगाएंगे? Every day with mantra chanting and reading of Bhagavad-Gītā, and purified through daily practice of meditation and restraint of senses. We show respect for the Lord within us by keeping the body healthy, clean, and beautiful. Any attempt to misuse the body or to indulge in excessive senses at the expense of body is a violation of divine presence in us. Showing gross disrespect. So where books, movies, television, or our eating habits are concerned, we must be vigilant to see we are not indulging in senses at the cost of health of our body or our mind. Even those who are making good progress on the spiritual path, the senses can play havoc. if the vigilance is relaxed, in order to transform our belief that I am body to the feeling that I am Atma, we should begin by governing the senses very carefully for many years. This is not from the role of yogi. We don't become a yogi, but we give our body what is needed to sustain it as a spiritual instrument for doing Paramatma sadhana. Just as we purify our gross body, that means the full sharir, with vigilant care of senses, healthy physical exercises, the repetition of mantra, we purify our subtle body, our sukshma sharir. We discussed what is sukshma sharir. By cultivating healthy thoughts. Sukshma sharir can be cultivated by good thoughts. We have seen in previous discussion how important our sukshma sharir is. Thoughts are the food of subtle body, of samskars, our mental and emotional conditioning. What we are eating in the form of these thoughts for subtle body throughout times, and every time a thought arises in mind, because mind is always with some thought, good or bad. So anytime a thought arises in the mind, we have added either to the nutrition of our sukshma sharir, that is subtle body, or its malnutrition. Healthy effect on the mind of anger, resentment, or hostility is so great that it can cause far-reaching damage even on the physical level. To keep the subtle body pure and healthy, we must and foremost cultivate one virtue. What is that virtue? Forgiveness. Forgiveness. With this one virtue acquired, the sukshma sharir can be purified. The point Shri Krishna is explaining to Arjuna is that man is soul and not the body. Soul is nitya, that means always the same. It does not act, so it does not act, obviously you are not acting, and therefore not committing a sin. But the sin will not accrue only when Arjuna is able to experience the soul. Only then his delusion will end. Attachment and grief are only as long as we are at the level of body consciousness. We feel ourselves to be the doer. The central idea is that Arjuna should fight with equanimity of mind. That means not for motive, but for duty. Fight not for vindictiveness, but for the call of duty to uphold the dharma. And that will break the fetters of bondage. Let us proceed to next shloka, shlok number 19. Paramatma says in this shloka 19, Eno vitya hantaram yashchaina manyate hatam ubhavatau na janito nayam hantina hanyate. Those who think that they can slay Atma and those who think that the Atma is the slayer, both are ignorant. Both are ignorant to the reality that Atma neither kills nor can it be killed. Here the central idea is that unless a person becomes soul realized, he or she will remain at the mercy of universal delusion of believing oneself to be the killer or the killed, the sinner or the sinned against, the real man or woman, because the soul is above gender, so it is man or woman, doesn't matter, is neither the killer nor the killed, because his life is like 100 years long dream. In a dream, we kill and also get killed. And on waking up, we feel so delighted that it was all dream and not a reality. We are still alive. Similar is the experience of enlightened person. He looks at life from this point of view. This shloka is truly of Arjuna's impression that by killing Pitama Bhishma, by killing Dronacharya, he will incur sin. Lord says that soul is neither a killer nor subject to be killed. So the power which cannot be killed, which does not kill, how the sin will visit that power? The ignorant who believes only in body consciousness, he believes himself to be the killer, which is pure delusion. But this delusion is most difficult to shed. No book reading can help. Spiritual sadhana is the only way out. Now, what determines how long it will take us to reach that actual goal of life, of self-realization? How much time will it take? Small story again. Once a saint was sitting on the side of a road when a passerby came to him. He showed him a piece of paper and asked him, "Sir, could you please tell me how far away this place is?" Trying to manage his two huge suitcases which he had in his two hands, further asked, "How long will it take for me to reach there?" The saint did not say anything. He got up and gestured the man to continue on his way, and he started walking along with him. The man was surprised. I asked him some matters and he is walking. Also a little frightened at the saint's strange behavior, that he is not talking anything, just walking, and asked him to follow him. He said to the saint, "Please do not trouble yourself. All I want to know is the distance. I can go there on my own. Don't take trouble." Still the saint said nothing. He said nothing, but continued to walk with that man. After 10 minutes, he stopped and he said, "It will take you 2 hours to reach that place." This man said, "Sir, you could have told this to me at the beginning only. There was no need for you to talk a mile with me to tell this." The saint, he replied, "How could I estimate the time without knowing your speed of walking? The time to cover any distance is not decided by its length, but by the speed of the walker. You are carrying these two huge bags with you, so it becomes obvious that your speed will be slow. Now, after I have walked with you, I can tell you that it will take 2 hours for you to reach this particular place where you want to go." Now, saying this, that saint carried on his journey further. But this traveler thanked the saint, and he kept on looking at him for some time, as if he had shown him the right way of reaching his life's goal. Everything depends on our speed, and our speed depends on our condition. We can run and we will arrive soon. We can waddle along, but in that case, our time of travel will be longer. Our speed can also be such that we can reach the distance immediately. Our destination we can reach immediately. This applies to our inner journey. That means our journey of self-realization, the real goal of our life. We are the passerby having two huge suitcases. One is full of our past karma, past experiences, and another one is full of future expectations. Once we are freed from these burdens of past and future and start living in the present, our journey of life accelerates with enthusiasm and joy. And as we put our best efforts with utmost yearning and craving, then we can reach the goal immediately, very soon. So, if one man runs to reach the destination and other walks to the same destination, he also reaches the destination. What is the difference? One saves his time and the other spends his time. So when you will attain your self-realization, it depends on what baggage you are carrying and what is your speed. So let us proceed with slok number 20. "Na jayate mriyate va kadachin, nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuya, acho nitya shashvatoyam purano, na hanyate hanyamane sharire." Paramatma says, we were never born. We will never die. We have never undergone any change. We will never undergo any change. So we are unborn, eternal, immutable, immemorial, ancient. We do not die when our bodies die. Shri Krishna continues to explain our real nature in this shloka. Na jayate, we were never born. Na mriyate, therefore we will never die. Na ayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuyaha, we will never undergo any change. Aja, never born. Nitya, eternal. Shashvat, immutable. And finally, with a tinge of little humor, Paramatma says, Purana, old, the ancient one. We are ancient. We are so much ancient that compared to us, Himalaya is a newborn baby. That much ancient we are. When the world was not, when the galaxies were not, when nothing was there, we are having grey beard. We are that old. His grey beard is since that time. So the play of Lord in which he assumes a body. Paramatma also, when he takes the manifested form, he acquires body, isn't it? And sits for the childhood, the youth, the old age. And this is beautifully portrayed in Kerala, in Guruvayur temple, dedicated to Lord Krishna. Shri Krishna is worshipped in 3 different forms in that temple, in the 3 periods of the day. In the morning, if you go to that temple, you will see little baby Krishna, Bala Krishna, in a cradle, being fed, bathed, and sung to sleep. Most children are to go for morning service in that temple. They see that Lord is even younger than them, and they have such compassion for him and feel so protective that they don't want any harm to come to Bala Krishna, that little one. This protective feeling for the God is a real very good discipline for the spiritual awareness right from their childhood. At noon, Shri Krishna is young man, straight like a palm tree, outgoing and very vigorous. You see Lord Krishna as the embodiment of physical fitness at its best in the afternoon. You see the peacock feather on his head, you see the garland of wild flowers, the yellow silk dhoti, and the bamboo flute in his hand. Young people like to visit in the temple in the noon. When they identify themselves, they find it easy to identify that form of Krishna which is so young, fit. So they love to see their beloved Krishna in that form. And in the evening, when the sun is about to set, the old people like to go and see the Lord Krishna, who is hardly able to stand up and is ready to shed his body any moment. The different images serve to remind you and us that these are all the changes which affect only the body. Even the God undergoes these changes when he takes the human manifestation. Shri Krishna at the age of 8 years in Vrindavan and Shri Krishna at the age of 125 years in Kurukshetra, were they physically same? No. That means even the God's body changes. But does the God change? No, God never changes. So God's body changed. God did not change. Same is true with you and me. Our body changed. Our soul never changes. God is therefore asking us to rise above the physical level so that we do not get caught in this cycle of change. I have become old. I have become sick. These changes you don't get trapped into. Paramatma says, you're not that body. You're much different than that body. Okay, let's quickly go to slok number 21. Today's last, then we'll end the session. 21st sloka. Vida vinashina nityaya enamajavvyam katham sapurushah partha kanghatayati hantikam. Paramatma says, Partha, Arjuna, a person who knows this soul as indestructible, eternal, birthless, and beyond change, how can he kill or cause another one to kill? Atma cannot be divided. Atma is one. It cannot be divided, which means Atma is one. Jiva is many, manifold, multiple, billions and trillions in number. Jivas is in billions, trillions in numbers. But does it mean that there are billions and trillions of Atmas residing in these billions and trillions of Jivas? No. Atma is singular, indivisible. That is its nature. One who knows for certain that the universality and immortality of the soul and unreality of this body, how can he kill anybody? Because there is nobody to kill. You are also soul, he is also soul. Everybody being soul, who cannot be killed. So who will kill whom? This is akin to asking someone to kill the illusionary snake in the rope. And remember, you can either see the snake or you can see the rope at any given time. You cannot see both of them simultaneously. Either you see the illusion or you see the reality. Both cannot be seen together. So the one who knows that the Atma is indestructible knows that he cannot kill or destroy that which is the truth. So who can kill whom then? But this realization is not there when the man is at the level of mind and body consciousness, sense consciousness. For this realization, soul consciousness is necessary. It is for this reason that Lord Krishna wants to enlighten Arjuna, who had requested for Lord for the right guidance. Now, how are we all connected? Atma is same in all of us. So how are we all connected? 9/11. As soon as we mention 9/11, the painful memories of the terrorist attack in USA on the World Trade Center comes to our mind. But 9/11 also holds a very positive significance in our history, particularly India's history. Something special happened that day. On 11th September 1893, Swami Vivekananda gave a lecture on religion, which made not only America, but the whole Western world his admirer. It was indeed a very proud day for all of us. Swami Vivekananda re-established India as the global guru on 11th September 1893. The place was Chicago, America's most densely populated city on the coast of Lake Michigan, where a huge conference, that is World's Parliament of Religions, was being held. Representatives of different religions from all over the world and a young yogi from India, Swami Vivekananda, were present. A lot of people were mocking Swami Vivekananda, who was sitting amid hundreds of scholars because he was dressed differently than others. We know Swami Vivekananda's dress. So many of the scholars also laughed at Swamiji. Even after hearing all the comments, Swamiji remained calm and serene and continued to listen to the scholars from other religion and other countries with full attention. The people were all different, so were their religion, but everyone claimed the same thing. There is no religion like my religion, no doctrine like my doctrine, no lineage like mine. We know a religion in the world says those who don't follow us, they are all kafir, they should be killed. Such religions also exist. Swami Vivekananda's name was eventually called in that world's parliament of religions. He rose from his seat and began walking towards the stage. Swami Vivekananda was hardly 30 years that time. The whole world wanted to hear what this young representative of India would say here in this parliament of religions, where so many great warriors of various religions have already spoken. How would this simple boy of 30 years prove the superiority of Sanatan Dharma, the eternal religion? What is going to speak? Swami Vivekananda, he reached the mic, but did not say anything. This sparked curiosity among the people present there. There was a stir all around that why was Swamiji not saying anything? Some people even ridiculed him. Swamiji remained still, calm, quiet. He was simply looking around at everyone, as if taking a stock of the entire gathering. Eventually, after a few more moments, Swamiji began to talk. But he had entered merely 5 words when around 7,000 scholars from all over the world present in the audience immediately rose up and began to clap for him. Those 5 words reverberated there and continue to sound till this day, sending a message of universal brotherhood to the entire world, the message of Bhagavad-Gītā. The first 5 words spoken by Swami Vivekananda in that conference were, "Sisters and brothers of America, sisters and brothers of America. The 7,000 people present there were mesmerized, as if they had seen some magic, as if they had heard the voice of God, as if there had been some heavenly prophecy. The applause continued straight for about 2.5 minutes on these 5 words only. While he had barely said anything yet, his initial 5 words touched everyone's heart and surprised them. This is India. This is Geeta. This is Swami Vivekananda. The entire atmosphere of conference had changed, because this word did not come out of a person's mouth. They were born out of the culture of Sanatan Dharma. For the magnanimous and big-hearted, in fact, this entire earth is their family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. In Marathi we say, He Vishwaji Maje Ghar. This concept was introduced to that gathering by Swami Vivekananda on that day of 11th September 1893. The people sitting in the meeting would not believe that a person who came from thousands of miles away, with whom they shared neither blood, nor culture, nor language, nor emotion, nor religion, nothing, how could you address us as brothers and sisters? This is the secret which the biggest intellectuals of the world have not been able to understand till date. Everybody says we are best. Vivekananda says we are all brothers and sisters. We are all one. How to make even the strangers our own? How we do not discriminate among human? How we do not consider anyone big or small? Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam was, is, and will always remain our culture, India's Sanatan culture. Is for us, every person in this world, what Swami Vivekananda said on that day, is our sisters and brothers. After these 5 words, Swamiji further said, I am grateful to you all for the love and affection with which you all have welcomed us. This statement also brings forth his grand qualities. Swamiji had come to America about 1.5 months before this conference, the day he spoke at World's Parliament of that religions. But he had only got hatred and contempt from everyone in America. For a month and a half, he drank this poison of hatred and humiliation, but did not allow even the slightest bitterness or anger to enter him. He did not avenge the wrongs done to him by others. Rather, he took them as a heavenly gift. And when he spoke there, the word that came out to his lips, the words that came out to his lips were of gratitude, and gratitude only. The hatred and humiliation all around could not touch his soul. That is the purity of heart of Swami Vivekananda. Swamiji further said, I am proud that I am a follower of that great religion which has taught the world the spirit of tolerance and acceptance. The following morning, newspapers in America were loaded with accolades of Swami Vivekananda. New York Herald wrote, Swami Vivekananda was the greatest speaker in the world's Parliament of Religions. After listening to him, it seemed foolish to send missionaries to that great country, India, where such countless learned and wise individuals reside. That is the greatness of our culture, all embracing and all inclusive. Culture is not reflected by garments, rather it lies in the development of character. That is Sanatana Dharma. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose used to say, if Swami Vivekananda had been alive, I would have sat at his feet. Guru Rabindranath Tagore used to say, read Swami Vivekananda if you want to know India. After reading Swami Vivekananda, Mahatma Gandhi said, my attachment for my country India has increased 1,000 times after knowing Vivekananda. So this is Sanatana Dharma, this is India, this is Bhagavad Gita. We stop here. Now the forum is open for you to raise your questions. Thank you so very much for your patience. Jai Shri Krishna.
Extend my heartfelt gratitude to Vikas Ji Vaidya for the wonderful and thought-provoking. With your guidance, We are now a step ahead to dwell and meditate on the divine. An announcement. We are excited to announce the commencement of the 36th batch of our Geeta classes, starting from November 8, 2024. Dive deep into the timeless wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita with classes available in 13 languages and across 21 time slots to suit your convenience. Spread this divine message to all your friends and relatives, motivate them to register and embark on a transformative journey of spiritual knowledge. We also invite sadhaks to share the Vivechan links, Zoom and YouTube to friends and relatives. Vikas ji is now open for taking your questions. You may raise your hands and if possible, switch on your videos if you have a question.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
The conflicts you are talking about, how we have to resolve the conflict before the end. That is the most difficult part. How do we do? Like, even when we try, sometimes it gets more complicated. Whatever we try to tell, the perspective of the other person is always something totally different. That's how the conflicts arise. And how do we handle that? And like you said,
See,
in
the
the
only way
Bhakti
to settle the conflict is to sacrifice your ego. Our ego becomes the greatest stumbling block in resolving the conflicts. Even if we have not erred, even if we have not made a mistake, even then, if you want to settle the resolve this problem, the only way is to say, I might have made mistake. I might have been wrong. Knowingly that you are not wrong, knowingly that you never made a mistake, somebody else made a mistake, and the conflict arose because of his not being so right in thinking. If you take the lead and say that if I have made a mistake, I am ready to say sorry, let us close this. Let us close this. It is causing trouble to me. I am sure it is causing trouble to you as well, because our minds are same. So if you have to clear your mind and I have to clear my mind, and we have to march ahead speedily in our objective of self-realization, let us forgive this. Let us forget this, and then your speed of going to the destination will increase. I want to increase my speed. I want to get rid of this burden from my shoulder. I want to increase my speed of doing self-realization. As we have understood from the story, the more baggage you carry, the speed will slow down. Isn't it? So why not to shed off those loads? If you shed off those loads, your speed will increase. So it is in our own interest. Even at the cost of ego, if we say sorry to somebody, it helps us.
Yeah, there is no problem in saying sorry, but still it continues. The whatever the other person carry
That is
the
up to him.
baggage. As long as
See,
we
as far
are
as you are concerned, as far as you are concerned, you have reduced your load. You have shed off your burden. Now it is for that person. If he still wants to carry it, it is his way of thinking. But that should be the difference between people who understand Gita and those who do not. We are fortunate enough to read Gita. So if we and other people who are not reading Gita are same, then what is the difference? Isn't it? So we should show even higher level of maturity than other common people who have not known this philosophy of Gita. Isn't it?
like, is it better to withdraw from the world, or the like how the I mean, at least reduce the social thing, or just do your bit and leave it at that? Do
No, Gita doesn't say you keep away from the social life or from society. It does not ask you to take sannyas. Arjuna is being resisted that don't take sannyas, do your kartavya karma. So we have to continue doing our prescribed duty. Nobody in Gita, no slogan in Gita says this, that you give up your karma and do only Krishna bhakti. Paramatma says both are important. Mamanusvar yuddhacha. In it, Sadhya there is shloka. Mamanusvar yuddhacha. You remember me as well as you do yuddha. That means you do your kartavya karma. Paramatma gives equal importance to bhakti yoga and to karma yoga. So that's why we have to continue doing our karma. But in the process of doing karma, we may get involved in some kind of conflict here and there. So the Paramatma says it, Resolve those conflicts before you say goodbye to this world. That is the only message.
Thank you.
Yes, you.
Shri Krishna. So I have a small doubt. Now, when the soul comes out of the body and only the gross body is there, the subtle body which carries that 19 elements, like you told. The thing is, now they do that 1 year titi, now immediately the soul, it goes and transit to another body, like how we change our clothes the same way. But why they do that 1 year? It will take the soul 1 year to go to another body. That's what they tell. Then why these rituals are done?
See, first thing is, the Sukshma Sharir does not occupy the new body immediately. It has to wait. It has to stand in the queue till it finds an appropriate body, appropriate family, suiting to the samskar and the karmas that were performed by him in the previous life. So it has to wait. It doesn't happen that he dies, immediately enters into the next body. It doesn't happen immediately. First thing. Secondly, when it enters that body, when it enters that another new body, the Sukshma Sharir remains the same as it was there in the previous body. That's why the example which I gave my friend Patrick is that Sukshma Sharir and the Sukshma Sharir of other people, they may be knowing each other. They have acquired new bodies. They acquired new bodies, so their bodies don't recognize each other. But their Sukshma Sharir does understand each other. And that's why they get attracted towards each other. That is the reason we get attracted to strangers sometimes. The person who is traveling with us in the flight or in the bus or in the train, we have never met him, we have never seen him. But somehow we get attracted and we start getting into great dialogue with him. We take his phone number, mobile number. I want to keep in touch with you. Let us meet again, something like that. So this is the attraction, which is because of the Sukshma Sharir. What was your second question?
The second question is that 19 thing which you told, no? When it when it comes out of the gross body, the 19, like the sensory, the motor nerves, everything. So now when it enters into the another body, so whatever the nature, like suppose when at that point of time in the previous birth, the soul would have done many mistakes or something. So that karma, everything will be carried along with the baggage along with the soul and enters the another body.
Yes, the samskar of previous life do get carried in the next life. That is the way karma is important. That is why karma which puts bondage is to be avoided. Because every bondage of the karma, you have to take the next life to repay that bondage. So that's why the karma should be such that they don't create bondage on you. Every karma that we perform, Geeta teaches us, make sure that this karma is not creating a fresh bondage on you. You already are carrying millions of bondages from all your previous lives. Now, having known Geeta, do you want to add to that burden, or you want to shed off the earlier burdens that you are carrying from previous lives? So we need to understand that every karma that we do should be such that it becomes a nishkam karma. Every karma should become a karma. A karma means the karma which does not create bondage on us. I give this example hundreds of times. People may be tired of listening this, but suppose you are helping some person crossing the road. He crosses the road, he does not look at you and walks his way. You are hurt. I helped him to cross the road in such a great traffic. He did not have the courtesy to say thanks to me. He did not even give a smile to me. When we do that, our simple karma becomes a sakam karma with some expectation of return and reward, and that puts us under bondage. That fellow will have to take a rebirth. We will have to take a rebirth to settle this score. So help somebody and forget about it then and there only, as if you have done your prescribed duty, you have done your kartavya karma. Otherwise, even after doing sattvic karma, you get bonded. That's why Sankhya Yogi, in the beginning I have said this, the Sankhya Yogi They hate karma. They don't want to do karma. They think that karma is putting us under bondage. My only objective in the life is to make union of my Jivatma with Paramatma. That's the sole objective. I don't believe in karma. Karma are bad. They are putting me under bondage. So, but Gita doesn't say you avoid karma. Cannot be. We cannot avoid karma even for a single moment. So, do the karma, but make sure that it does not create a bondage on you.
Sir, another, I don't know whether I'm troubling you, but I have doubt on this for many years because now I'm doing this Bhagavad Gita, I have this. Now you told that it will be in the queue, the soul, it will be in the queue. It doesn't mean that immediately it will enter the body. It takes its own time. But now, then why we do that, like Amma say, we do that tarpana, calling the ancestors and
Very good
that
question.
yellow, tili yellow
Yeah.
that we do. So and we tell from Pitruloka, they come and they give the blessings to us. So when they have
Yeah.
taken, we don't know whether immediately they have taken to another body or based on the karma, whatever they have do and get an opportunity time to enter into the body. Then how these rituals, that 1 year, I'm not
Yeah.
able to understand.
Yes, yes. I understand your question. See, the thing is, all these shlokas that we're reading for last session and this session also, we are repeatedly saying one thing, that we are soul which never dies, we are not body which dies. Isn't it? Now, the performance of Shraddha that we do is for the body. From the Gita perspective, from the Gita point of view, it is not correct. Because we are not body. So what rituals for body to be performed? That Atma has already occupied or will occupy eventually some new body, and it will be happier acquiring new body. So this gross body which has been left by the Sukshma Sharir and by the Atma also, this body is of no use. Even when Gita is teaching us, when you are alive, don't fall in love with the body. So why after death we should fall in love with somebody's body or our own body? So Gita doesn't recommend going Shraddha and all that. Gita doesn't say you perform Shraddha. So long as you are realizing the self-realization, you have achieved self-realization, that you are the soul, then the body becomes of no significance at all. But having said that, our forefathers have been performing these rituals. So for peace of mind, we say, I will perform this for the first year, and for next 2 years, I will do some process for the Shraddha of my forefathers or the departed soul. If we continue to that, and if it gives us mental peace, let us continue that practice also. Nothing wrong in that as well. But at the back of mind, we should have Gita in our mind, that the soul for which I am doing all this, he might have already occupied another fresh body and he may be happy there. So you can pray for that soul, that whatever new body you have acquired, I pray for you, you be happy in that new body with your new Sukshma Sharir in that body. So the prayer should go for the soul as well as for that body. For body, because our forefathers have taught us. But for the soul, because Gita has taught us. So when we perform Shraddha, we should have both things in our mind. For the soul, Gita has taught us, and for the body, because we have been continuing as our family traditions. So both will give us mental peace and happiness of mind. Isn't it?
Yes. Got it, sir. Sir, that one thing, first question, I couldn't get it properly, sir, because there was a lot of disturbance outside. That soul, like some people, we get attracted very fast, you told, no? When you were telling, I couldn't hear properly because of the external sound.
See, the Sukshma Sharir, in our body, we have that Sukshma Sharir, and we have realized that that Sukshma Sharir is more important than the Sthula Sharir. The subtle body is more important than the gross body. At the end of life, when the Sukshma Sharir has left the gross body is still having its hands, legs, eyes, ears, tongue, everything. But it stops working. The Sthul Sharir cannot function on its own. It functions because of existence of Sukshma Sharir in the body. When the Sukshma Sharir has changed the body, this body becomes dead. This Sthul Sharir becomes dead. It cannot walk, it cannot speak, it cannot smell, it cannot see. So this Sthul body is of no use. Now this Sukshma Sharir, which has occupied another body, and a person who is known to you in this life, his Sukshma Sharir has occupied another body. Both bodies are new, they are not knowing each other. They are neighbors, but they don't know each other. In previous life, they were knowing through their Sukshma Sharir. But when they see each other, they feel some unavoidable attraction towards each other, because the Sukshma Sharir in this body and the Sukshma Sharir in that body, they know that we have met somewhere in our previous life. Gross bodies don't know. Gross bodies don't know this. But the Sukshma Sharir can know this. That is the reason I give example of my friend Patrick from France, that we are in love with unknown people sometimes, because the Sukshma Sharir have stayed together in some form or the other in their previous lifetime sometime.
Correct, but when there is no attraction, when some people, when we instantly, when we see, we feel, yo, I don't like this guy, I don't like this lady. Somewhat the immediate other, I'm telling the opposite of attraction. So in that case, you mean to say that how that works?
See, it might have happened that you might have been in some kind of confrontation with that Sukshma Sharir in previous life, or it might have happened because in this life also you have an independent mind. Your mind can analyze his behavior in this life as well. So when your mind analyzes his behavior in this life, I'm not talking of previous life, in this life you don't like his behavior, so you don't like him. We were debating about knowing some person who is unknown to you, you still like him. Now here, second example what you have given is, you don't like some person for some reason or the other, because maybe he is not so good. You have analyzed his behavior and you don't like his behavior, so you don't like him. It might have happened that the Sukshma Sharir of his and Sukshma Sharir of yours may be knowing each other in the previous life as well, and you knew from your Sukshma Sharir that you were not a good guy in the previous life as well. So that's why the hatred comes, that I don't like him. So both ways it is possible.
Possible. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
My question is same thing. Some people are initially they were very good. After some time they are becoming enemies like. So how that one is also coming? Initially they were all very good. Then after some time.
So it may happen, no? See, as we read other people also read us. Our actions, maybe they did not like our actions. They did not get the response that we were expecting from us. So there may be some flaw in us also. So before we blame others, we should do our own soul searching. Have I not met with the expectation of other person? Am I lacking something?
This happens even in close relationships also.
Yeah, it might happen. In fact, it happens mostly in close relationships only. With strangers, we do not have so much of connection. But with close relationships, we get hurt. But we were in so much love with each other. We were inviting each other for lunch and dinner so many times. We were having good chit chat, and suddenly the fellow has gone away. Now he's not even looking at me. He's not inquiring about me. So this does happen. This does happen. But the problem could be because of his own personal issues. See, the frame of mind of each individual is not same at all time. Everybody has tensions. Everybody has reasons.
Yes, Krishna.
Okay, so shall we close the session?
Okay, yeah, go ahead, Sanishna.
We see sometimes some people are telling that we will speak the to the medium, the departed soul, and they can ask any questions to them like that, whether it is really true or not, whether what they claim that they can speak to your ancestors' soul or something like that, and get some answers or solutions from them.
You see, people call it planchet. In my childhood, we also have played this kind of gimmicks of planchet. So you keep a coin on a piece of paper, and then you call somebody. We used to call Mahatma Gandhi's Atma that time, but it was all humbug. It was all nonsense. People need to cheat each other. Somebody will move that coin with the finger and will say, now the coin is moving on its own. This is not so easy to call somebody's soul. It needs a great amount of spiritual sadhana. Then only you can communicate with the soul. Every Tom, Dick and Harry cannot do that. So communication with souls is possible for yogis. We can do it. Not everybody. An ordinary person cannot do communication with the soul. That planchet and all that which other people do is cheat, is fraud.
Okay. Thank you.
There's one more person. Sunanda Gowri. Okay.
Maybe no hand raised. Yeah.
Sorry.
You can continue. There is no hand raised now.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
Many thanks, respected Vikas ji, for the very interesting session. The challenge is to practice and apply the deep learning about the soul that you have imparted. We would like to thank each and every one of you Geeta sadhaks for attending this evening's session. See you all in another enlightening session next week. On behalf of Geeta Pariwar, sincere thanks to the technical team for their relentless efforts in making the session a great success. There will be chanting of the Hanuman Chalisa after the prayer. Let us again offer our prayers in the lotus feet of the Lord. I call upon Beauty Bose ji to express our gratitude through prayer. Beauty Bose ji, MPhil in Computer Science from Bangalore, retired as head examiner of Computer Science in Delhi. She loves reading books. She joined Geeta Pariwar in June 2021 and serves in the calling migration team and as technical assistant, group coordinator, examiner, and co-trainer from L1 to L4. Welcome, Beauty ji.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Yogesam Sachidanandam Vasudevau Brajapriyam Dharma Samsthapakau Viram Krishnau Vande Jagat Gurum. Krishnau Vande Jagat Gurum. Om Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Shri Krishna, Didi.
Jai Shri Krishna. Thank you, Beauty Didi, for the harmonious prayer.
गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारी बरन रघुबर बिमल जसु जो दायक फलचारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र ध्वजा विराजय कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजय शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगबंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबेको आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबेको रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सिंहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही सम भाई सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावै अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावै सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीना तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र योजन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर पल जानु प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाही दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुमरे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज समारो आपै तीनों लोक हाकते कापै भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवै महावीर जब नाम सुनावै नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावै मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावै सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा जिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावै सोई अमित जीवन फल पावै चारों जुग प्रताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नो निधि के दाता असबर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावै जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावै अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई संकट कटई मिटई सब पीरा जो सुमिरै हनुमत बल बीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई जो यह पढ़ हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरी सा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय।